I wanted to make this video because of something I noticed just this evening, and I thought it was kind of a cool thing actually. I don't really know what to name this tutorial. It's to do with Windows. I don't mean Windows, the operating system. I mean what you might identify with as this box here, where I've written some text down in, or other types of windows that having other styles, like this thing coming up as a list box, which is a collection of a collection of items in a list, which I want to use since get another one up. This is these are visual things, and there's an associated functionality behind each of these window structures. I mean, at the most basic level, I think I've said before, a window is essentially just a data structure like a struct, regular C struct. But although that's true, it's not entirely the whole picture, because one of the members of that struct is this thing called the window procedure, right? I mean, the window struct itself has there's a handle to get at it, right? That's just to obtain access. Sometimes there's something called a menu. There's styles. There's these styles are not just for prettying things up. There's actions like sizing actions, placement, and so on. And all of that is done through this window procedure. Right? Now, one thing that people typically, myself included, don't tend to do is think of a window just as a data structure, and not taking any input or having a picture or anything associated with it. But that's not the view, I think, that the rest of the world takes, because if you run this program, what you see mostly are hidden windows, and usually they all have the same class type. Tooltips, floating palette, like what are these windows? Why are they all there? Right? What are they doing there? And it's a mess. You try to find something in this list, and I usually end up skipping past it because I have to scroll past through all these repeats. It would actually be quite nice if you could create a type of window that wouldn't appear in this list. Maybe you can change the view to not show hidden windows. But anyway, let me give you an example of what I'm thinking about. This does actually come back once again to my famous ghetto file thing. Before taking that great big step, whoops, comment. Let's take. We don't need this actually. We certainly don't need that. Let's take the simple example of a list box structure. Oops. I'm going to call it a structure, not a window. I can create a list box structure in the following way. To get a handle to one and build it at the same time, call it that. Create window, create window. Class name, class, no, class name. I know I have some defined. Oh, come on. Classes. I have one written down here somewhere. Well, they're my common age. As usual, the intelligence has deteriorated over the evening. At this point, my intelligence is far below where it normally is. Where is it now? I put it into a nice namespace thing so I can, bring them easier. Come on, where are you? On the right direction. Cool. Not here. I can't. I'm sure it's not in TS window. It might be in TS window. That'd be possible. That would be very bad of me to have done that. I did. Look at that. Because it doesn't. You don't need it. It's not a Windows thing. Of course, that's something I'm just realizing. Alright. Class. Class name. I think public list box. Window name is something that you pick yourself. Now this is a list. Let's suppose I want to make a list of strings. Well, I'm going to just for now make up a name like list function sync or something. List, well, okay, just list for now. I'll make a better name later when we see where I'm driving at. Now the styles, to get the kind of styles you want, one way is to take a typical list box and then use the spy here and see what kind of styles it has. I have a listing that doesn't come up. Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah. Now child window, W is child. Visible, I'm gonna go like everybody else and go non-visible. But I'll put in that, let's say, V scroll, because I don't I don't want it to be bounded or anything, right? I want to be able to put as many things in there as I want. Tab stuff, notify, now we don't need that. Fix, has strings, I think we need. Anything else? The rest doesn't matter. I think that's enough. Oh yes. Now, you see, the thing is, like I was trying to say, one of the styles here is not really a style at all. It's a function. That function is a sorting function. So I could use this object if I wanted to sort a list of strings, right? That's going to be my goal. So I'm going to give it that function. I'm adding that function to my little tool that I'm going to make. Now X and Y doesn't matter. Width, who cares? Nobody's going to see it. Parent. Menu. Now I have to give this a number, smallish kind of number. 16 is good. H instance, that could be null. And L param, null is fine. Okay, now if this succeeds, I have in my hand a thing that sorts strings. Okay, that's a string sorter. I'll show you how to use it in a minute. It has this list box thing has other functions that you don't need to specify a style for. They're just built into the window proc. Get rid of that W. You have to put the W because this is a macro. This here is a macro, which is a very bad thing. And it doesn't show you the arguments, and it gets messed up with the F11, right? It will always take me to the macro. Doesn't matter. Even if I had my own function with that name, doesn't matter. F11, for me, F11. Go to definition. We'll take you to the macro. So that just ruins this name. This name cannot be used. It can't be namespaced away from the macro. It's just it's been trashed. Come on. Alright, well, while I start building, let's suppose I have a list of strings, or an array. Let's have an array. String. Hello. There. This is an array of strings. Alright, so I have an array of strings, and I can use that thing, H menu. I can use it to sort. I'm going to use it to sort this list of string, this array of strings. Now all I got to do is add them to the collection. So first thing, if this succeeds, then I do index up to my size of my arrays. I send a special message. Oops. It's called LB add string. Okay. And this I think is 0. I have it using it somewhere down here. No, I'm not actually. I have to press the help button. It's a good idea actually to make a copy of these strings before passing them through, because I think the help file says that the parameter is not a constant string, even though it may not modify it. These we know are constant. If anything touches this data, we're going to get a crash. But I can't even click here until the help comes up. Okay, so while that's coming up, I have an auto dupe. This thing will make a duplicate that will free itself of the string. LB add string. LB param not used. Pointer to null terminated string. Has strings. Okay. So I think that's fine. Okay. Don't have to worry about that other stuff, I don't think. Just to be on the safe side, I'll make that copy. I'll make a copy of that, of the strings, before adding them to my collection, just in case it writes to that data area. I'm not sure of that. There's nothing in the declaration that says that data is safe. Now I'm telling you that this thing has sorted my list of strings, and if I want to print them out sorted, all I gotta do is go through the same loop. Now for this, I would write a function to retrieve the string. Get int. Index. The way this thing works is you say int const int the length of the string is equal to hLB, and then you send the special message. This is using the functionality of the object. You see why this is more than a data structure. Get text len, I think. Len. Yeah. This thing can compute string length. Now that we have the length, shouldn't happen, but you never know. This is a length, not a number of bytes. So my macro is a macro that allocates enough space for a string of that length, null terminated. So it's one more than that. And then we do this. LD get text 0, and then our buffer. That's an auto-freeing buffer. And now I have a way of obtaining the nth string from my collection. And so what I'll do is I'll get nth string, and here, sorry, get capital. Wow, double click worked. Right? And you'll see that this list will be sorted. The strings will come back the same as I put them in. Oh, missing a bracket, I think. Am I? No. The strings will come back. Oh yes, now finally at the end here, we've got to destroy our little machine to free up resources. There's no visibility assigned to this machine that I made, so nobody will see it. All it is I've brought into being an object that can hold on to data and manipulate it in certain ways. And I've used it to sort a list of strings. All I had to do was add them. There's no window or anything involved. You're not going to see anything. Maybe I don't need to actually put a sketch. 0, 0. This here is an allocator, similar to this auto dupe, except this one allocates and copies. So it allocates a string of length, this plus 1, does a copy, and puts it inside of a auto deleting kind of struct. Nothing to it. Here, I can show you. They all use the same macro that creates a auto-free pointer type thing, which is just a thing that on termination calls free, right? When it goes out of scope, it calls free. It's very handy, these auto auto things that have a the destructor essentially is the fundamental tool for making your life much less miserable, because it allows you to put basically a local at exit everywhere. You know how in a program you can say at exit do this, close all files or something. This here puts an at exit at it every time through the loop. It exits something. It calls a function. Oh, come on now. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, unreferenced formal. Oh yeah, that's true. And similarly there. I'm going to build it without the recorder running. Okay, I haven't run it yet, but I did do this. I'll step through it. The crucial thing is whether or not this comes back. No, if it succeeds, then we have our tool. And it won't be visible at any time. And it won't interfere with any other window. Okay, so it's not no, right? So now I'm going to just call this add string. You don't see anything. Run up to here. Now my claim is that the list is sorted. Nothing's been printed, but I'm going to pull them out one at a time with the index starting from 0 up to the number. I could actually retrieve the number of elements in the collection, but I'm just going to, for now, assume that there are as many as I added. Hello. Now, is that the first? Should be. Is an array. That's this one. That's certainly before I, O, and S. Yeah. It'll go of, and then strings, and then there, there, then this, I think. Of strings. There. This. See? Destroy the window and we're done. And now that's one way to use a window as a machine to do a computation. And another thing that one of these listbox machines can do is it can give you a directory listing. You send it a special message called lbdir. So let me do that. Instead of adding these strings, I'll add I'll add an entire directory listing. lbdir. Now the w param has some flags, and I have them written down at the bottom. No, not so far down. Oh no, I know it's bottom. Or maybe up here. Here it is, lbdir, and then you can say if you want like directories or disk drives, or you can select the type. Here are some more I'm using. Archive is file, so I'll use that one. I'll just grab this code. And now the path spec, we just have to give any path, and we can use wildcards. So let's suppose I say dtemp tmp avdmux. I know is a directory that exists. Star.star. Okay. No, I shouldn't do that because that's dangerous. I should copy it. Whatever. If it crashes, it crashes. Alright, and then I'm going to go through and print them out. And what you'll see is not only do I get a directory listing, but they're going to be sorted alphabetically, which is not exactly the best thing, as you'll see, because of the nature in which alphabetic sorting works. It's a left to right thing, right? That's not usually the way you want to sort directory. Okay. Undeclared identifier. True. Oh yes. Okay. Now I need to find out the length of this collection. Const. Num lm message. It's a lb get num get count. Just like a linked list. 0 and 0, I think. Shouldn't require any more parameters. And then we'll loop up to that number, and we should be able to extract that many strings from our collection. This here thing that I've created is not a visual box that handles clicks or anything like that. It does do that too. I mean the amount of things that this thing can do is almost endless. But just the simple things offer a lot of variety. And what's great about it too is that the functionality and the data are combined together under this one label. Does that sound familiar? Let me pause. Okay, all built. So I'll run up to here. DDL archive means that any object matching this pattern that has the attribute of being an archive. An archive is a file, not a directory. Hello. No, it's this thing. I gotta shut that down. Alright, we got our machine. It claims there are 75 elements. I'll start printing them out. So here they are. And so on. Okay, now what I'll do actually is I'll run it command line into the clipboard. Clipboard. And just put that into Notepad here. And here we are. Okay, that's a directory listing. So here I have a little machine that can give me directory listings, and not only that, they're alphabetically ordered. But that it's not so great because usually for a directory listing you would like to, have it maybe alphabetical, but separate the extensions, right? So that's what I did. All we got to do if we want to do that, right? If we suppose we knew the extensions, or we'll just take two possible extensions, okay? Let's say I'll do exe and dll. Here, if I run this, what I'll do is I'll accumulate these into one of my lists. The final list. Okay, I'll do that, and then I'm going to do the same thing again, but with DLL. Before doing that, I need to clear it out. I think that's the command. Yeah. Right. Now do I've got it here. Dir command again with DLL this time. Run through my same loop, appending. Okay. And then after that, I can run through my entire list. Like that. And now I have separated exe and DLL, printed them out. Each subset will be in alphabetical order because the list is ordered. And when I removed the previous content and filled it up again, it'll be ordered again, and I'll get the kind of listing I normally expect for a directory listing. I just realized that I can't make this const anymore because I want to, well, I can use a different name. Num exes. But I need to get the new length of the list. Oh, and the linker crashed. DLL. It's the same message though. You could see how you might bundle this collection of calls into one function. Print list of strings. In which case we wouldn't have to make up a new name. So is that alright? Should that compile? Right? So here's a function. Just these three lines together. Whatever. The loop and the getting of the count and the accumulating of the list could be made into one function. If you wanted to, you could also combine that with the extension to get a listing, an alphabetical listing of, of some files in a directory. Maybe make this a parameter, and suddenly you've got essentially a C++ class. Pause. Okay, let me just do this first, make sure it's working. Didn't crash. I'll do it like this. Okay, well, it turns out there were only a couple of EXEs, but they are in alphabetical order. This one's second, and then the uninstall, and the rest are all DLLs, and they're also in alphabetical order. Now, doing that trick has allowed me to do the thing that I thought was going to be nearly impossible with my list box, with my file open dialog. There. This here goes in main. This here goes above. Here I have, I'm invoking my, using my open file name wrapper, and my fancy new box, this box, which will now be sorted alphabetically and separated by extension. Now the only tricky bit is when you end up with star.star, in which case you have to go and figure out what all the extensions are, right? And then go run them through the grinder separately. But as you'll see here, it does work quite fine. Here in this directory, the CPPs first, and then this one are sudo, these V's are together, and then H files, and then this one. This is with this pattern. If I take this pattern, I get a different, this pattern, I get a different output. I don't know if there are any files in here. Certainly files in here, and you can see that it's working. And so I've managed to solve the problem of getting my listings in alphabetical order, as well as being separated by type. And the way I'm doing it is exactly what I showed you. Yeah, where is it? Here maybe. It's gotta be no, it can't be in common. That's where my dialogue is. Here, fill the file list box. Okay, so I make up a dummy list box. I call it dialog dir list sync because that's cool. Everybody else calls their things sync. Well, I don't need this notifier. I thought at first I was going to send messages and have messages come back to me or something. Don't need that. Definitely not. Similar to before, has string and sorted. Accumulate entries is the combination of get nth string and a reference to a list is passed in. The count is obtained by asking the object for its count, and it accumulates. This here is my function for dealing with the star.star case, finding all the extensions. It's not that hard. First, take the list box, reset to 0, zero it out, do a dir with the star.star path spec, get the number of strings, walk through the strings, calling split path, and taking only the extension out, and accumulating a result. If the result contains the current extension, lowercase, already, then I continue. Otherwise, add that to the result. Cut off the extra semicolon at the beginning and return that. So in the case where it's star.star, I generate one of those types of lists, a dialog with the semicolon delimited extensions for all of the extensions that I've found in the directory. Come on. So one of these, I generate a list like this, right? So that I can run the same logic. The logic is keep stir toking out another star dot something, reset content, do directory with archive of the new path spec, accumulate. Before doing that, I do a directory listing. So the first thing that's listed are directories in this list. They're in square brackets. And the funny thing is, I didn't realize, but if I type the letter R, it takes me here. I didn't think that would work. So even this box has some extra help to do with this format. But it doesn't do multi-letter. Like if I type COM, I won't end up here. See, it's just the last letter. So maybe one could find a way around that. It does do a little bit. Yeah, so first the directories, then the files, and then at the end the drive letters. The drive letters come out like this, and I bet that those I can use a C, D, and S take me to the drive letters. So this, not the box. The wind proc, which is the function that goes along with this data, is aware of this format that it created itself. I didn't enter these strings in. I just called the directory listing function. It created these strings, and it's aware of these strings, and it will respond when passed characters that match these letters to this format. I don't have to type a square bracket to get to the R here. R takes me there. So anyway, and none of that, none of the none of that stuff involved the actual destination list control, which is here, right? All those strings got added at the end here. Where is it? Here. The listing thing, generating the alphabetic lists, the sorted lists independently by extension was repeated on this dummy window, and then the whole mess was thrown into here. Yet this thing still recognizes the format, as you just saw. So the format's another special built-in piece of functionality that goes along with this name. Right? It happens to be the word list box. And there are a whole bunch of other things that it can do as well. One can only imagine what some of these things are for. Add file. Maybe it does checking to make sure that it's the right format for a file. Setting anchors. Set type. Item height. That's to do with visible things. Find. It has a search feature. Find exact. Right. Set the count. Add storage. Select or unselect something. All of these functions are available for free by just making one of those objects. And you don't even need a window or anything to draw on. You can still use the functions. I just thought I'd mention that. See ya.